Welcome back to Beck. This is going to be a follow-up video to that Honda Civic, which my daughter bought, that I got running. Basically, after I got it running, I ran into some issues, which were kind of a fault of my own, which I didn't know about at the time. So, here's some of those clips, and I'll try to voice over and explain what's going on. So I pressurized the cooling system. It spits coolant out here, which was hooked to this line, which I'm pretty sure this is an evap line, and it was leaking back at the fuel tank. So obviously there is an issue. The guys that previously worked on this hooked it up wrong. Later here you'll see I got the hose marked AB for airbox to remind me, so I hooked it back up, but it did go back to the vapor canister. When you pressurize the cooling system, it pushed coolant out that canister, which indicated that there's fuel getting into the fuel tank. So then I go on to try to test for spark and make sure it's good. They talk about using a code reader to check for a crank signal. I tried it on the Honda Civic and it didn't give me a reading, so now I'm trying a known good car. This is a graph of when a signal sent. It should spike up. So you get no signal. So, I'll show you another trick. So this is a coil unplugged setup. It's a Nissan. So there's no plug wires, but I got a timing light, the little hook piece, like that. I'll show you that it can pick up on this. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but you can see it flashing. So timing light will work on coil unplugged setup. I just started it about 10 seconds ago. If I hold it at $3,000 or if I let it idle, I don't know. It died before, but I don't know how long it idled, but at $3,000 is less than 2 minutes. Oh, I'm gonna check engine light flashing at me. It's got a mess going on. It'll shut off and die, and it doesn't want to refire. I'm trying to connect. Check engine code reader. There. Cylinder 4 misfire, which I swapped the coil from 4 to 2. So possible plug issue. I did have cylinder 3 and 4 misfire, so I swapped coil 4, cylinder 2 and 4's coil, and still got cylinder 4 misfire. So I pulled the coil off of 4, pulled the plug out, didn't see it at first, and then come to the trunk and found this box and pulled the plug out of the spark plug socket, and sure enough it's got auto lights in it. Alright, new plugs. The car kind of struggles to run. Cylinders 3 and 4 misfire keep coming back. I talk about swapping the coils. I did that and it didn't seem to change anything. I'm not moving my foot on the throttle. So the next test, I just want to see if the injectors are actually trying to work. Just have these empty clear water bottles, and the injectors are sitting in them. I'm cranking over to see if they pulse and spit fuel. After that, I utilize a test light, kind of like a Noid light for checking fuel injectors. Just checking to make sure that each injector is being made to fire. See what I made?
Oh, yeah, you made a jump lead.
At this point, I'm still not convinced that the injectors are good. So we put air into the fuel rail, and we've hooked wire connectors up, manually cycling the injectors as well as blowing air through there or whatever remaining fluid to see if we can even see a spray pattern to see if there is one of them that isn't working or all of them are working. After that test, I need to set something up to check the fuel pressure. So, stock Honda fuel line into a brake tube that's been flared just like their fittings, and a brake tube regular and flared to a fuel hose into the gauge for the T-fitting. old fuel line that had a good end, so it's clipped in there. Pressure is supposed to be 58 to 63. Determined that the fuel pressure was low, so fuel pump needed changed. Even after changing the fuel pump, it still didn't want to run, so we started checking what fuel was in it. So after seeing the contaminated fuel, went ahead and pulled the fuel pump out because it's easy to get to, and set up something to suck out all the contaminated fuel. It's better. Last bucket, as you can see, the coolant comes out. Oh, and the can's full, so got fresh fuel in it. Did go for a test drive. It didn't want to shift. Speedometer was not working. Pulled all these codes and determined it needed 2 solenoids. Transmission codes, researched it. Input and output sensors for the transmission, which the short one's located right there. And the longer one is, got your heater hose here. There's a port right there. So, kind of in line, straight down from the windshield. Where the transmission label is right there, so it's not very far from that. But kind of follow your heater hose, and it's kind of in line with it at the back. After replacing those parts, determined the fan wasn't coming on. Found out the fan motor is good because we gave it a ground. So at this point, we're not going to worry about it, and we'll fix that at a later date. And the final issue was with the VTEC solenoid. Replaced it, and the car worked perfect. Speedo works. No check engine light. Chugging along. Alright, so I hope that made sense. And I hope you can see finally got stuff sorted out, and it's back on the road. So give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. See you next time.